guys, welcome back, or for the first time, to this podcast where you watch my co-writer and lead actress form this movie about misogyny and patriarchy and serial killer, abductor. Anyway, so thanks for joining us. We are trying to make this thing as transparent as possible, so we're documenting all of this, and if you would like to help us create this film, donate to the thing down here, share, subscribe, like all that stuff. This episode was recorded, it was after the first strike ended, before the second strike ended, so after, what was it, Actors First? I don't remember, it was so long ago. There's so much trauma that's been happening in the world, so it's hard for me to remember. Next week we'll be back again, and we'll just keep doing this thing until we can make this thing. So enjoy this, and we'll catch you in, I don't know, half an hour or so. Thanks, guys. The weird thing that we're stuck in, and this will segue, because we're running late, this will segue into the movie. And we're running late because of my fault, so I take the blame for that. But anyway,
we can do this any time, honestly.
I know. But I was gonna say, wait till the millennials find out about small towns and how cheap they are.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is small towns are still run by all these 80-year-olds, and there's no reason a millennial would want to move there.
No.
Like, literally just because it's cheap. But there's no culture, there's nothing that we want.
Right. Our generation still appreciates, like, you know, like, I at least for me, you know, it's like, I know that a lot of people do have moved to smaller towns, you know, but once they do get there, like you said, there's nothing to do. There's no real, like, art, culture, you know, in these small towns. And
this,
you know,
and they're not changing. The towns are not changing because it's the same people that's been running for 40 years.
Place to where you can't.
Right.
So it's like, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, it's, I was just thinking about, well, it's a weird time. I literally just voted on the SAG conference. Oh,
okay.
I put in my vote today. I was holding out until the very last minute.
What's interesting is one of my other friends who's a stunt coordinator.
Oh, so screwed, yeah.
Yeah, she was the only other one that I saw us being like, I don't know about this, guys.
People are fucked in this contract. They are so screwed, and they are screwed most because it's not hilarious, but what was just like mind blowing is that in the meeting, the in-person meeting that I was in at the Palladium, when they were asking questions, one of the stunt people was like, you know, putting up her like hypothetical, what if this scenario happened under this contract, then what would happen? And the panel was like, well, you know, AI really at this very moment that I'm speaking to you right now, we are only capable technology-wise of making an AI person believable for about 4 seconds. And the stunt person was like, that's about how long I'm on screen.
Yeah.
And the panel was just like, yeah.
As what blows my mind is, and this was happening whenever, when everyone was full on strike, but you think about it for 5 seconds and it falls apart.
Well, I mean, it's like, the thing is, this contract, they're planning, they know, AMPTP knows what's ahead. And this contract is acting like, well, we don't know what the future holds.
Yeah.
And it's like right now, sure, it's shitty, but they're posting videos of like, yeah, it's crappy AI. My friend literally just texted me and said, I'm doing a training video at work, and you can tell these actors are AI bots. They're not real that are in this. She's like, it's making me not want to listen to this fucking training video because it's so distracting. But it's like, they're trying it. They're experimenting with it right now. And shit like training videos and stuff like that. And they're because because they're working with it right now, and because they're working so hard on it, you know that this is what they're trying, this is what they want to do. They want, because it's cheap. Mm-hmm. It's cheaper. And that's all that anybody ever has to think about is what is going to make them more money.
Right.
That's what they want.
Just like studios, when Barbenheimer came out, they were like, oh, what people want is a Mattel universe, right? That's what people want. And it's like, no, people want engaging, good stories. That's what they want.
Right, no, we don't want another, yeah, we don't need a, well, now we're going to get a Polly Pocket movie and all this other stuff. But, I mean, it's like, honestly, what I see happening, I've had all kinds of ideas.
Of course.
Brewing around in my head about this contract and what the future holds for film and actors and everything all together. But it made me actually really excited about what we're doing right now because I think, there could be with this contract, because right now the noise, I say noise, but it is like it's information and opinions which are very valid on both the yes and the no vote, and it is very like it's just as divisive as everything else is in our world right now, because you've got sort of a certain class of actors like myself and other journeyman actors who aren't famous but they have good credits and they've worked a lot. We're a lot of no's.
Interesting.
Because we don't have the lawyers and the money to help us when this contract does get broken, it does fail. So you've got people like Jessica Chastain and all these fucking famous people who are out there going, I think it's a really good contract. I think it's a really good
We did it, guys.
Right, yeah, it's like, it's really great. So everybody, yay, go SAG, we did it.
Right.
And I'm so grateful to our negotiators.
That's a really good Jessica Chastain. She's such a valley girl.
Yeah, she is. And she's adorable, but, I don't, whatever. So there's all that, which is like, okay, so if this does go through, and a lot of us, I don't know. It's like, I'm not saying that I won't consent to AI. I'm not saying that I'm like, hell no, but not under this contract. Not with all of these loopholes and not with all of this, not with any security as to, who are they going to sell my fucking retina scans to a third party? I don't know.
Right.
So for me, it's like, this could become a split between even a bigger split between actors who do big studio projects and actors who are just indie, I only work with humans actors.
Interesting.
And in the next 5 to 10 years, there could be this gap, a huge gap in people that you don't see but people that have a big following and actors and I think it could be a huge resurgence of indie film.
Right. I mean, there's already such a bifurcation in the world, but especially that could just be another and when also there'll be. Earlier today HBO was like, hey, just announcing season 2 of this show nobody's ever heard of, and it's like they made a whole show, released it.
Right.
And the comments were all like, "Oh, I can't believe it's back," and all this stuff. And so there's entire niche cultures that exist around these things. That
have you heard of the show Upload?
Yeah, I love Upload. Yeah.
Me too. Okay, so I only heard of it last week.
Really?
And it's 3 seasons in.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't watch Upload? That's your show. And I was like, no. We all started watching it as a family now.
It's pretty cute.
It's really funny because the episode we just watched last night was where the AI guy was like, he's like a unpaid, he's like an out of work actor in real life.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they paid me $1,200 for my AI, and now they're using it in perpetuity. Yeah. And it was very just like.
And that was a couple years ago that came out too.
That was made in 2021. That episode, So it's like it's very clear, and the Netflix episode of the first episode of Black Mirror, I mean, that tells you right there what Netflix wants to do. I mean, it's very clear. So unless I don't know. Like, we know that these big producers and big studios are not going to suddenly be like, you know what? Yeah, we care about artists.
Right.
Let's, that's not going to happen. So there is going to be a lot of movement, I think, in indie film, and they'll be SAG. The thing is, like, they will be SAG project. Like, no one's gonna, because we're still all gonna be members of SAG,
right?
And it's just gonna be, are you? And there could be actors who will get together and form another unit.
That's what I was about to say.
There could be actors that get together and form like a human actor union, humans only, like, kind of union.
Well, you can't call it the HAG. That sounds bad.
That's true. This is true. We can't call it human
Actor Guild.
You can't call it like I don't know, but a lot of there's so many possibilities, and the world of entertainment and film and art could really drastically change in just the way that we do business in it, and the way people consume it, because right now it's the big streaming services like Netflix and HBO and whatever, but it could be that if those streaming services start casting AI synthetic performers and all their stuff, that a lot of people are going to say no, and they're going to want to go to other services that are saying, hey, we only use humans over here. So it's just like,
yeah, that's a tricky situation.
Yeah, because it's like, I see shows like Upload, like I used to like, I would like,
and that was created by Greg Daniels, the guy who made The Office.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And they haven't announced, so they have 3 seasons, and they still haven't announced that the 4th season's been, granted there's been the strikes and everything, but like...
That's what I'm saying, like, I used to think like, oh, I want to get on this show, and I want to get on this show, and have like shows that I would like, try to like manifest for myself, and I was like watching Upload, and I was like, oh, I could so be on this show, but then it's like, is this show gonna get, are any of these shows gonna come back, like...
What's really fun about that show is it's not as like it's maybe not as witty as something like The Office or like 30 Rock or something, that kind of vibe. It's a totally different vibe, obviously. It's not as quick, but it's charming. And then as the show goes on, the things that they're saying about the world are really, really interesting. Like it becomes like a legit science fiction satire show.
It's kind of Idiocracy.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's like Idiocracy wasn't necessarily like quick or clever, or it had very interesting perspectives on where we're heading.
Whereas Idiocracy was just about how stupid it all is. This is a little more cynical and a little higher brow than that. Not a lot, but a little bit.
Exactly. But it's in that same like sort of category of like, it's not writing.
Did you know the main girl in that, I forget her name, she was Prince's singer, one of Prince's background singers.
No way.
Yeah, I was looking her up, and she was one of Prince's. Anyway, okay. Speaking of being gaslit.
Yes. Great.
So I don't remember how much I had written the last time we did this. I think I was up to page like 30 or something, not much.
Yeah, 30 was the last one after we talked.
So I did a lot of work in the meantime, and not really, it was only like 2 days, but a lot of pages, and they're all rough. Obviously there's lots of typos, but if anybody's watching this, they won't probably be reading that version of the script anyway, so whatever. Although maybe, I don't know, maybe that'd be kind of cool. You can, if someone wants, they could look at the different versions of the script, and that'd be kind of cool. Anyway, okay, tell me, and I appreciate you doing the heavy lifting to actually like open the pages and go through pages, and
oh man,
because I know it takes time to read this kind of stuff and analyze it and all that.
Oh yeah, And I haven't, I'll be honest, like, because of the contract coming out, the SAG contract that's 130 pages, Oof. A lot of my reading time was...
Yeah, of course.
I didn't finish that.
Sure.
But I don't know how... I read the first 30 pages very detailed.
Sure, yeah.
The last 60 that are added on. I finished it earlier.
The last 60.
But I don't think that
all
my
good, man.
attention was like as sharp.
No, it's all good because mostly because I know where I want to fix up a lot of places in that 60 and also in that 30, but mostly I want to plot out, or at least come up with some ideas for where it goes, and shore up some different things, and a lot of it will be character based, which is where you'll come in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you just got done reading just before we started.
Yep, and I love it. You've managed to include like everything that we talked about. I feel like. I mean,
I tried to.
I know there's a lot of stuff that we threw out.
Yeah, over a 5-hour Zoom call. Yeah, a lot of brainstorming. But
I love when we get down into like the real like farther into these 90 pages where it's going back and forth between the film, the birthday party film, and all that to the that was I really like that a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of starts mirroring what's happening in her world.
Yeah, exactly. I think the characters are like already there's of course room for for sure little things, but I think I love all the characters. I think we're really seeing Deb like struggle with herself, and her, like the scene with her and Hale where they're like, she's like, those are my friends, about the cops and stuff just after she went to talk to her mom about I just love everything. I love how, we had the scene with her and her where she's asking her mom, why didn't you come and look for me? Did you ever come and look for me?
It's heavy stuff. That was your idea too, by the way. I'll have you remember, as the character lady.
You don't gotta, But yeah, I like that. I like that we had that there where
one of the things I am proud about, I'm proud about the whole thing, but one of the things I was really having fun with was, okay, so she's got kind of dementia, so she doesn't really know what era it is.
Right.
Maybe Deb can use that to her advantage, because that is what you're supposed to do with someone with dementia. You don't fight them with it. You just live in that universe with them.
You have to lean into it.
So if she's leaning into it just naturally because she doesn't, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Maybe she can use that for some reconnaissance. It's maybe not the most healthy way to confront a situation, but I mean, might as well.
And she also, it's but Deb also is a little salty.
Yeah,
she loves,
for sure.
She's salty about it, so maybe she's just kind of I don't care if this is really the best way to go about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, especially in that point in the script, she's already, she's going down a path.
Foot's fucked up.
Yeah.
She's and the doctor can give a shit.
And that's something I really want to keep in mind whenever we go to shoot is the progression of her injury.
Exactly.
Especially once she's running away in the foot chase scene. She is hurting.
Yeah.
And it's only getting worse the more she runs on it, and
Exactly.
And we can play all that up, but
and it just it went all over me with the doctor's talk about gaslighting. When he says it's at a 7 and he's like, are you sure you walked in here? It's like, fuck you, buddy. Who are you to tell me what level my pain is at? That's it really, but it's so accurate. So
Well, especially with women, and you're not black, but if you were, especially if you were a black woman, like,
right. Oh yeah,
doctors are terrible about it.
10 times worse.
Yeah.
You might as well not even be a human in some of their eyes. Like,
go figure.
Yeah. I had a weird, not to detract from this, but I had a really close call, speaking of being a woman and fucked up situations with men. This situation on Saturday night could have turned out so different for me. I think I dodged like a sex trafficking, kidnapping situation. I got off work at like midnight, and I've gotten pretty complacent about walking to my car.
Sure.
And because I do it all the time, and I'm in Burbank, which is like,
right.
It's Burbank,
right?
It's Disney, like, so everybody's like, wah. No one really questions, like, we all do it, all the women. None of us really, like, we should take it much more seriously, especially after what. But I was walking to my car, and like 30 seconds in front of me, these other guys who had just left the club also were walking ahead of me, like two guys, big, strong dudes ahead of me. They walked all the way to the garage with me, which is like a block. It's like one block, and then there's a garage, but it's like midnight, and the garage is attached to a mall, so it's pretty empty. Okay. And these guys just walked through the garage to get to the other street that's on the other side of the garage. My car was like one of the only ones that was left in there, in that area. And there was a car driving behind me, and I kind of had to like get out of its way to like let it drive through the garage. And the guy waved at me, like, as like a thank you for getting out of the way kind of thing. Okay. I like waved back, I thought, Right. But he kept looking at me, like, in the rearview mirror, and I was clocking that he was looking at me. And then I remembered, my mom said, call me when you get off work. And so I was like, I'll call my mom. And so as I was getting in my car, I'm calling my mom, and I see this guy who just waved at me back into a corner spot. So he backs into the corner spot of the parking garage, and that's about 10 spots down from my car. And I'm watching him, and I'm calling my mom, and he sees that I'm like not gonna sit in my car, like I'm about to like back out. So he turns his car off, gets out of his car, and starts running towards my car. Like fast. And I like back up, like I make sure I'm like getting, put my car in reverse, but he's smiling and he has a cast on his hand. And he walks up and he like motions for me to roll down the window. And the nice person in me is thinking, does this guy need help? Like, what's up? So I roll down the window like halfway, and I said out loud, I said, hold on, Mom. Like,
okay, sure.
Go down. And he goes, and he seemed Armenian or something, okay. There's a lot of them in this area. And he's like, hi, I was wondering, I don't mean to bother, but he's like looking me up and down. And this was Kevin Hart night. Hard episode tonight, but I had we were all like, everybody was doing their tip-top best on Kevin Hart night. So I had this little black lace dress on. I mean, I looked like, I was going out. And I look like I weigh 100 pounds, so he walks over to the car and he's like, I was wondering if you might be able to help me push my car. And I'm like, push your car? And I'm just thinking, I just saw you driving it, and I just saw you back. Not to mention you're already in your car and about to leave. I'm backing out of my car, and there were two men walking through
big burly men
right in front of me, big strong men who would have been much better to push a car. And I just got and I had a creepy feeling from like that moment. So I was just like, I was really nice. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but I can't. I'm so sorry.
You're a really good actress.
I'm going home. Yeah. And he goes, are you on the phone? Then I said, yeah, with my mom. Yeah. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to bother. And he started walking away really fast as soon as he saw I was on the phone. And my mom was like, what just happened? And I told her the whole thing. And when she was 21, she just got off work late, was in a tight little black dress, and got kidnapped at gunpoint and was raped and dropped off in an area that she didn't even know where she was, and her and another woman ended up picking the guy out of a lineup. The other woman was like beat up and but they made my mom put the dress on in court that she was wearing the night that she was kidnapped.
What does that do?
That as an example for obviously she was kidnapped. Look how she was dressed.
Ugh.
And it was just weird because I was in a little black dress. It was and she was like, "Why did you roll down the window?" And I said, "I only rolled it halfway down." She said, "So did I, but they could still get a gun in the car." And I was like, yeah, I know. That wasn't really probably the best idea. But
to be fair, they can shoot through a window. I mean, regardless. But yeah, you're right.
But it's I should have just been like, bye, and just kept. I should have just gone. But I was lucky that he didn't try and block me into the spot or something. Which is what happened to a friend. My friend actually blocked these guys in. There was a guy, my friend, they threw open the van door next to my friends who were getting in a car, and this guy tried to grab my friend and pull her in, and she threw her keys to the other girl who got in the car and blocked those guys in, and they let her go. But yeah, so it really pissed me off.
Reagan, you're just you're like a suburban little white girl, and you have all these stories.
That's what I'm saying. This happened in Burbank, and it's it can happen anywhere, and that's what kind of made me go, whoa. I had to recheck myself because it was just a few little timely differences in what happened, and a few little different. If I wasn't on the phone, he might have been
a little more aggressive or a little more pushy.
Yeah, who knows. But it just kind of did. It went, no, that was a nefarious. That guy was not.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you back into a corner of a garage? Mm-hmm. So I'm supposed to get behind.
What was his vehicle? Just a car?
It was just an old, beat up
jalopy
car.
Okay. Because a lot of in Texas, especially if you have a big truck, you back up. But I mean, you don't need to. But that's what they do. But that's their excuse.
But it's also just where are we pushing your car to?
Yeah, for sure.
What? It was very weird, and it just made me go, ooh, that. Who knows, who knows how many times that works, and how many times people do get.
And imagine he was totally innocent, totally not nefarious and stuff, but he should have the wherewithal to be aware, to read the room, essentially. It's midnight, parking garage, this is a little lady,
what am I, who, you're gonna ask me?
Right.
When those same guys, third guys, they had to get out of the way of his car too.
Right.
They were right there in front of me. Why didn't you be hey guys, hey, can you give me a push? But where's your car? You were just driving it.
Right.
It was very obviously not good, but it's okay, that's kind of just what you have to but my mom argued with me. It's so weird how when women argue against their own, I said, I was it just pisses me off because my mom says shit Dad would never let me where it's Eric's responsibility,
what you're wearing,
where I work.
Oh, okay. Well, either way,
she's like, Dad would never let me work at a place. I said, let you? I was first of all, nobody lets me do anything.
Second of all, it's a comedy club.
Right.
It's not like you're at a seedy strip club or something.
Yeah, she was like, what is Eric's response to what happened to you?
Right.
And I'm well, he thinks it's awful. And she's like, what is he gonna do? I was like, what do you mean, what is he gonna do? She wants him to say, I'm gonna come pick you up every night. Or I'm gonna, and it's I'm not, and that's what pisses me off, is that it's I'm not, that's one of the, I know it's probably not in my best safety interest, but it's half the reason why I get pissed off and don't want to ask somebody to walk me to my car.
Right.
Because it's I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in that world where I can't walk to my car.
Right.
And I know we don't live in that world where it's safe for me to do that, which fucking sucks. But it's like, I just don't want to accept that. And so it's like, I don't want to ask somebody. But, you know, a couple nights ago when I was working, I did ask my coworker to walk me to my car, because it's like, unfortunately, that probably wouldn't have happened to me the other night if he had seen me walking to the car with a guy. He wouldn't have asked me to push his car. He wouldn't have asked us to push his car. Like, so yeah, it's like the reality of it is, you know, and it just fucking sucks, you know, because it's like, but I told her, of course, Eric is going to say, he did. He was like, you really should be having somebody walk you to your car every night, you know?
Yeah. And especially, like, what's the gender ratio for the club?
It's about 50-50.
50-50. So, like, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for a fella to help, you know?
No, and most of the time, I'm getting off work at the same time as a lot of other people are getting off work, and we're all going to our cars, but it doesn't hurt anybody to walk me to my car, you know. So it's like, sometimes we're all parked
right there
in the same area.
Yeah.
But it's like, I just don't think
you shouldn't have to, obviously. Bam. What came off in my hand just now? I don't want to know. Okay. So what I was going to say was, what's interesting about that is your mother and you have had these experiences, but also knowing your mother, there seems an inherent contradiction therein. So relating back to the movie, I wonder if maybe there's not a... And we can talk about the 60 pages as well, but this just came into my mind. Now that Deb's life is over as she knows it, essentially. Right. Like, at least in this moment, it's completely, everything's fallen apart.
Yeah.
I wonder if... and because small towns and the conservative nature of them are that even if you have these interactions, you disregard them as something else. So, like...
Yeah, you compartmentalize it and...
So what's something that could happen to her that would... She comes face to face with, you know, patriarchy or misogyny or whatever. Or, like, you know, just men being violent or something. To where it's finally, she's like, nope. This is no more of this hypocrisy, and you kind of expect her to maybe go the other way, but she's finally in this state where she's, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, like it finally, like it's the
thing straw.
That
Yeah. I don't know, but okay. So let's talk about what else. What other notes you had so far? I should probably just email these to you. I don't need to send it to you over Facebook, but.
I had notes and then I wrote them down on a thing. And
wow.
Of course, I lost that thing.
Wow.
I couldn't find it.
So prepared.
You know.
Well, there was a lot of pages.
There's a lot, and I've been reading a lot of pages of
everything. Yeah.
I did. I feel like at one point my brain literally felt like it was like burning.
No.
And I was like, this is not a good feeling.
Can't look at computer screens that much, Ray.
For real though, like it was. I got headaches. Like the contract. That's when I finally just went. Why am I even? I know I'm voting no. Like I know there's no with good conscience. I'm going to vote yes on this. So why am I putting myself?
Well, it's good to be informed, but yeah.
No, it is. But at some point you're like.
Well, it's also like in Congress when they release 8,000-page documents. It's like nobody's reading this. You literally can't read it. Like nobody can.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
My problem with the SAG thing is that they opened up voting before they released the contract.
Weird.
They released an 18-page summary, and then they said, well, we've never voted. before. We've always voted. We've never released the full contract, which isn't true. They've never released the full contract since the SAG-AFTRA merger. They always released the full contract before because it wasn't so complicated. But anyway, hold on. I'm going.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm going back through it.
Because and also post. Okay, so
I loved the scene with the mom, with the mom of the daughter.
Yes, yes.
I liked that a lot, where she sees the cigars.
Yeah.
And I liked the dad that really fucked up that.
I want to lean into more of that. I want to have that scene in particular. I kind of just threw that one together. I want it to be where he's a little more sly, almost like
like not so in your face.
Not so in your face. He's still saying the things. His demeanor is still like a drunkard, but he's also a little more intelligent than I'm giving him credit for. Like he understands that she wants him to be the perp. She understands that there's something. Well, I mean, he knows what she's investigating. So like, and he would be offended that. But I think if he can like throw her off on the trail just to screw with her because he resents the implication, and also like there's a good opportunity there for him to really lean into, I'm a man, you should be subservient to me, that whole thing.
Yeah, especially if we were talking about something that could happen to her to where she's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, because I want him to potentially come back too, because he is dangerous. Yeah. I don't know if he's like murdery dangerous, but he's definitely dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, he could definitely hurt somebody.
Right. I was actually rewatching Gone Girl, and whenever she gets away, when she leaves and then goes to the like trailer park, like park grounds or whatever, and she meets that one lady. I don't know how well you remember it, but she meets the one girl and her boyfriend. The boyfriend, I mean, he's super sketchy feeling the whole time, but he seems kind of nice. Like he doesn't seem harmful.
Right.
But then they end up robbing her, like mugging her, and go, totally. So like that kind of attitude where it's like, this guy's pretty dirty, pretty sleazy, you can tell. Yeah. I don't know how dangerous he is, and then he ratchets it up, and he's like, you can tell he's actually dangerous. He's not gonna kill her, but
But she shouldn't let her guard down.
Right. But also, I want her to be like, we need to write in some more elements where she second guesses herself, like where she's confronted, and this interaction with this guy would be a good opportunity where she's like, no, guy, humans are not this sketchy. Like they're like, maybe he comes up with like a clever excuse or like something that she's like, you can see it working on her face. You can see her working it out.
Like it's kind of like me with that guy the other night when he walked. It's like there was still a part of me that was just like, maybe he was a nice guy who needs help. But all of them, I got a creepy feeling from the moment I saw him. I knew it's like all these things that you should just go no. Like.
Well, I don't, and I also don't want her to seem too naive. Right. At least, I mean, she is naive about patriarchy and about misogyny and everything. Right. But she's also a cop, and I want her to be good at what she does. But it's also her first case, and she's never really gone out there in the field before. Yeah. So like,
it's a small town. She's a cop, but
she genuinely wants to believe that people are good, so she gives them the benefit of the doubt until she's proven wrong, and then her version of sticking up for herself, maybe that happens in this instance when she feels what she does is she sticks up for herself, but she makes the wrong choices in that moment because she's just never dealt with this, and she believes she should like stand up for herself, but it leads her down this path that because I like characters that make mistakes on, they're not stupid, they just make mistakes. And this being her first case, and she's still uncovering, I can work that in. We can figure out what that exactly looks like. But yeah, I want him to be a little more complicated than he currently is, but still sketchy as all get out. Because I want it to feel like a dissension. Like, the more you get into the script, the more seedy it gets, the more creepy it gets, and the more just the texture and like swampy, and just like it feels darker and darker and darker, and not in like a horror sort of way, just like
right, yeah. No, it does. It has. It like it is giving 7 vibes,
right,
for sure. At least for me.
Right. Well, like, I want everything to feel like it's closing in around her.
Right. Totally. And it's definitely you're definitely accomplishing that. Because I mean.
Did you ever find your notes?
No.
How?
No.
You have a computer right there.
No, I wrote them on a.
Like, with your hands.
With my hands.
What a millennial.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I know. That's the problem. I hate paper, but it's like I'm so like I have my comedy notebook that I left on a table outside of a grocery store the other day, and it was there for 45 minutes before I realized that I had left
You're
it
like,
there.
I got this really good joke about oranges. I gotta really work.
Yeah. No, it's because an open mic I was at is right across the street from a grocery store. And it's the easiest thing to do is park at the grocery store, go to the open mic, and then visit the grocery store on your way out, and then go home. But I visited the grocery store before the open mic because it's the weed mic where you can bring snacks and food and stuff. And so I go to get my snacks first, but I stood outside talking to another comic that I ran into, and left my book there. And then I got up on stage and I was like, guys, I left this fucking comedy gold sitting outside of the grocery store.
Why are oranges named after the color?
Exactly. Yes.
Get it, guys? Get it?
Get it?
Okay,
Yeah.
So I know that was just a sidebar, but what if the thing that ruins everything is that she's been so gaslit, everything's closing around her, she's getting more and more into the film, and she has like maybe some sort of evidence or some sort of clue that she leaves behind. She loses. And then because she loses it, and she doesn't actually have a job.
Right.
Maybe it's not even. Maybe it's something like so she doesn't have her gun. Maybe she was able to keep her badge because she's just on suspension. So maybe she's like, okay, I'm going to go into this next situation, but I'm going to have my badge on me. And then she ends up losing the badge because she's just not paying attention. So she's totally, not that a badge would really offer protection, but like she's totally going in as a civilian, and maybe not. Maybe it's just some piece of evidence that requires her to, like, she was like, okay, I have this evidence. It's going to break this case wide open. I'm going to take it to the police chief. He's going to understand, and it's going to...
Right.
And then she loses it because she's, just been gaslit by the system so much that she's not really paying that close attention to her surroundings. Yeah. Something like that.
Because that's at least in my experience, that's a very relatable thing to happen. Just you leave something somewhere.
Well, and also you get the more depressed you get as well, the more
and the more anxiety.
The more anxiety, you're shaky. Literally just gonna. And also, okay, so when we get back to notes, but one of the things that I can't wait for once we produce this thing is when it cuts to, okay, Hale is gone. She gets suspended. Blah blah blah. Her Mr. Mark hits on her. That part. Yeah. Everything is just hitting her like a ton of bricks, and then cut to black. 6 months later. Like, I can't wait for that moment because we're building. It's like a powder keg, and then just bam. Like, wait, what? What about all what happened?
Yeah.
You know? And then, okay, so 6 months later, I looked it up. So she doesn't have a job. I don't know that she says she's getting paid, but
what page? Hold on. There's that. Okay. Page 60. She's at the titty bar.
Tits and bits.
I know, I loved it.
I don't think you can legally name a business that, but I don't know. It's kind of funny.
It is very funny. It was cute.
Yeah, it's not really funny. It's just, it rhymes.
Is Charlene the name of the character on Ozark?
Oh, I don't know. I've never watched it. It's too blue to me.
A lot like
Really?
Charlene. It is her name.
Interesting.
But just.
Well, so the reason I named her Charlene.
I was picturing Charlene from Ozark as.
Oh, that's funny.
In the script because of that.
I'll have to change that then, so nobody. But no, I've literally. I tried watching one episode and it was so blue that I was like, you guys are trying so hard to make this moody, and it's just ruining the cinematography for me. So I couldn't. I know it's a great show because everyone says it is, but.
Why that is? I've been talking on the picket line. You meet so many people.
Right.
There was this guy who was talking about how, like, all these shows, once streaming and the AMPTP and these big streaming shows started to just churn out,
right.
shows with celebrities one after another. And Ozark was a really promising script, and it is a great show. I mean, it's one, like, acting and stuff,
right.
But as far as, like, the sound mixing, the lighting, all that stuff. So this guy was explaining to me that they put all this budget, so they have specific, like the AMPTP guys, the producers, the big head guys, will have meetings with specifically like the head of sound, and they'll say, all right, so your budget for sound, all right, so you just need a microphone, right? Good, okay, cool, here you go, that's your budget. And then they'll go, no, we need this, and we need this, and we need this, and we need this, and if you want us to do this, and they go, nope, use that.
Use your microphone budget.
And then for the lighting, they'll be like, well, we need this and this and this. And they'll go, no, you guys just need this.
We'll throw a filter on it.
So they just end up in post trying to fix all of this stuff that they didn't get the budget for
initially.
In production. So it's like, then the editors and the guys are trying to fix and correct things, and you can't fix bad sound.
Right.
You can't fix bad lighting.
Right.
There's only so much you can.
The only thing you can do as someone who edits and color corrects, a lot of the times the only thing you can do is, like, if we make it stylistic, then that hides a lot of the bumps because people are like, I don't know, it's supposed to look like that.
Right, so Ozark is just blue because...
Yeah. It's so blue, though.
It's so blue, and the sound is terrible, too.
That's interesting.
On that show, I had to watch that show with subtitles.
Interesting.
Some shows, the sound is just so bad, and I know I'm not old. I know I have great hearing.
Right.
So it's like, I know it's not me, but you literally can't hear anybody. And they're great actors. Jason Bateman, I can hear him fine on Arrested Development.
Yeah, of course.
I can hear him fine on, other shows. But, yeah. So
interesting.
The budget, just the way it's because they're throwing all their money. They're keeping all the money that they.
Right.
It's like the littlest amount they can possibly.
Well, because Ozark was a big show for them too. Like, I could imagine maybe season 1, but after that, it was a big show. So, like, you would think that they would.
Don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care about each individual show. They don't care about. They just go, are people watching it?
Yeah, that's it.
Still. Great.
How quickly are they finishing the show? Are they not finishing the show? Okay.
Right. And they give it 3 seasons?
That's why. Did you ever watch the live action Cowboy Bebop?
Yes.
I was really pleased with it. And
we were pleasantly.
Yeah, I was pleasantly, like, it was a nice The production value was great. It was really stylistic. They had worked on it for years and years.
I know. I mean, I thought it's pretty much as good as you can do.
For what it is, And there was a few like creative interpretations. I was like, yeah, I mean, whatever. It's a creative show, so whatever.
Action, so
But
as far as like the characters and the I thought it was. I really thought they
as close as you were going to be able to get. And then like literally a week after it came out. Nope. It gets canceled. And it lands on a cliffhanger and everything. They don't care.
I know.
And
like, well, that fucking sucks.
On top of that, it's like it's because it doesn't help also that like that show in particular, but also a lot of like quote unquote nerdy geeky shows, their fan bases are so toxic that like they can't ever decide what they want. So of course, there's going to be a smear campaign against the whole thing, and then people aren't going to watch it. Whereas if say Netflix or something had given it a few months for people to like really find it, like regular folk, not the cancel culture like anime folk. It had the potential at least to be like, oh, this is a really fun watch.
100%. It really did, but that's the thing is that they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care
about real quality.
Right.
Giving things time.
Right.
There's so many shows out there that like had they have not been given time, they wouldn't have been the shows that they are today.
Oh, famously, like all, like on network television, it took a year or two for like a couple of seasons for shows to really find their groove, and that was like 24 episodes a season. Like,
exactly.
It takes a.
Malcolm in the Middle would not have been the success that it was if people hadn't have watched it. Given it like 3 or 4 seasons to really be like, whoa, this is like a full, like really relatable family, and like it's not just a, I mean, there's so many shows if I really thought about it, but the thing is like even with movies
we gotta just abandon the studio major studio system. That's all we gotta do. We can do that, right?
It's easy. It's easy. But somebody was talking about how back in like the 40, I don't remember what movie it was, but 20th Century Fox sold some of its land to finish making like
Cleopatra or something, probably.
Yeah, something like that. And they had 3,400 extras on set.
That sounds like Cleopatra.
Yeah, and each single extra in full costume, makeup. I mean, that's insane. And then to believe in a project so
that much,
that you would sell property so that it could finish getting made. I mean, we can go into how fucked up Hollywood was back then.
Right, of course, obviously.
I'm not saying those were like the golden years or something.
Right.
But as far as just what they believe,
putting your money where your mouth is. Yeah. I mean, you can even look at something like. Now, I my favorite podcast was just talking about David Fincher as their most recent series, and they talked about Seven, and they were like, it was a struggle for him to get it made because it is like it was like the darkest, like almost unfilmable project. However, they still found like. I forget what the budget, 40-50 million or something for it.
Yeah.
And then when it came out, it was going to be, I think they said it was going to be straight to, it was so like vulgar, it was going to be straight to, but anyway, I don't know, I forget all of it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, and then you get Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and freaking Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, like, the cast is just...
It was stacked.
Insane.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of Seven... let's go over the 60, and then we can maybe use that to help figure out what the next phase 6 months later is. Because I know what I want to happen, or I know what I want the setups to be for later in the film. But to shore it up, what else were you? I know you lost your notes, but
I did. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry for you, because you write notes for a reason.
It's not hard for me to. I think I might have thrown them away when I was frantically cleaning after Thanksgiving. I mean, at least that's the only place, because we don't have a lot of space in here, so there's not a lot of places for things to go.
Yeah.
But I throw away silverware. Like, I'm just...
Reagan, did you ever think maybe you shouldn't be the one doing the cleaning?
We all try. All of us try.
Who throws away silverware the most?
We all have ADHD. So
oh, sure. Okay, sure.
I think we probably all do.
It's all equal.
This house is...
Y'all's monthly fork budget is nonsense.
Eric's mom has given us, like, sometimes, like, we're low on some silverware, like, spoons all of a sudden will be gone. Like, we'll have no spoons. And we're like, where did all the spoons go? Like, who is throwing all the spoons away? But we know it's because we'll, like empty a plate and we'll be talking while we're doing it, or and we'll just be like, shing, and just throw away the silverware and just keep on going with our lives, and then later be like, where is all the... I had to have thrown away a thermometer. Like, during COVID, we got a new thermometer, and we tore this apartment apart looking for this expensive ass thermometer that I bought. And our only conclusion is that one of us threw it away. That's really the only thing that it could have been. But yeah, okay. Anyway, ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should take medication, but at the same time, it's like...
No. You can just create systems. This is what I do. You just create systems to manage it.
Yeah, I think that medication... I'm worried about Kylie. I'm worried about her as far as just, like, her making it through school. Like, sure. It's one of those things where, as an athlete, if she doesn't keep her grades up, she's so screwed.
Listen, methamphetamine is really useful to some people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it does, it gets shit done. I know, it's such a...
I was listening to this podcast. We're not going to include this in whatever we end up putting out.
Yeah.
But I was listening to a podcast. It's called Search Engine. It's by the PJ Vogt and Shruti Pemene.
Okay.
But anyway, it's the guys that... I don't know if you ever used to listen to... what was it called? What was it called? Reply All. The Reply All podcast.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah, it was like a deep journalistic dive. It was like This American Life, but internet-based.
Yeah.
So...
I loved Reply All, actually.
Yeah. So that show ended for reasons, and then the creator, half of the creators of that show have this new thing called Search Engine. And what it is, the concept is, he answers the questions that, like, you'll be laying in the bed in the middle of the night and be like, do you think the monkeys are happy in zoos? Mm-hmm. And then he'll just do a deep dive on, are monkeys actually happy in zoos? And one of the recent ones that I listened to, it was a 2-part episode, was, why did I take speed for 20 years? And essentially what he means is ADHD meds. Like, they were prescribed, he figured out, he did a deep dive into why they were prescribed to millennials as kids so strongly.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it's methamphetamine is what that is. It's speed, essentially. But
it is.
In the 70s, so it was unregulated, and in the 60s and 70s, like, it started out in the 20s. They didn't know what it was. They figured out eventually, it can help with productivity. So in the 60s and 70s, it was 1 in 4 people were on methamphetamines. Were on... I forget what they called it. It wasn't like ADD meds or anything, but whatever they called it.
Yeah.
Finally, the FDA was like, this is like changing people's brain chemistry. We got to regulate this. So they regulated it to only certain types of people with, like, actual ADHD. That's not the phrase they had at the time, but like very specific niche. So the market dried up, and then by that time we're into the 80s, and because everyone was so used to this high energy stuff, that started the cocaine epidemic. Or that was one of the things that pushed so many people were like, well, we gotta stay productive and stay doing stuff. This cocaine does the same thing, so let's just all do coke. And anyway, so that's where that comes from. But anyway, so you could just get Kylie some coke and she'd be fine.
I mean, you know,
it's LA.
There's plenty of it around, but no, that fentanyl shit is just too scary.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's like.
I mean, coke's pretty scary too, but.
Oh well, yeah, but I mean nowadays.
Now it's got the fat.
For real, you really don't know. Like.
Yeah.
Aside from just off the record, yeah. When I was, I mean, not that I really do care. Yeah, when I was a teenager, I dabbled. Mm-hmm. But it's like, and they would always, you'd hear parents and everybody scare, you never know what's in that stuff, which as a parent now, it's like, yeah, you don't know what's in that shit. But you especially now don't know, because that could literally kill you. Back then, it was like, in coke, nobody was cutting coke with anything that was going to kill anybody. I mean, it's like occasionally you get like, oh, it's like all baby laxative. Or like it's all like, it's not actual coke, So then they're not hurting you. You're just not getting your money's worth.
Yeah. They're ripping you off.
And you're snorting shit that you shouldn't be snorting coke either. But I mean, like, you're just snorting, you don't know.
You might lose your nose eventually, but other than that.
I know someone who had to get facial reconstructive surgery because of the holes in their nose. But yeah, it's like, and now these kids are like just dying in schools. They're dying in bathrooms because of fentanyl. Because that shit is so.
That's actually one of the episodes on Search Engine. They're like, why would you make fentanyl? It just kills people. Why are you killing your customers? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Fentanyl patch.
Yeah, but they go into a deep dive on it, and it's really, really interesting. Anyway, okay, let's get back on topic. Hey, y'all, it's me again. Oh, it's cold outside, but it's hot in here with creativity. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share the thing. The camera's over here. Please subscribe, like, and share the thing, flubs and all. We're trying to make this thing a reality. It's really hard to make a movie. The making part isn't super difficult. It's the funding part that's super difficult. So if you guys can share and subscribe and comment, the YouTube thing. But also donate if you can. We'll give you a copy of the script. I don't know. Comment what else you want for donating. I don't know. We're open. Let's make this a community thing. Is it down here or is it up here? Where's the camera? Okay. I'll see you guys in another half hour or so. Hopefully I'll figure out where the camera is by then. What else? What are some of the notes? What else is there?
I'm scrolling through it because I know my brain will be triggered by things.
Typical lib. And I do want to go back and feather in, you and I will work on dialogue and,
That's because like I said, I didn't get to read this last 60 with the same fervor that I did the first 30.
But I want, a lot of, right now it's really plot-based, and I want more lines that, play to the overarching themes and, more wisdom-based things and scenes and actions that represent the ideas.
Yeah. No, there's tons of places where when I go, because I am going to go over this again. Sure. This is.
I'm really just getting the elements out of the way so that we can go back in and clean it up.
A skeleton.
For sure.
Yeah, because I mean, I really do love where this. I mean, it's already so good. Because that's okay. Yeah, this is a scene with Vanessa.
And I also want to change the names to get them, especially now that we're going with the more southern vibe. That's where Charlene came from. I was like, what's a southern sounding name? All right, Charlene. So eventually we'll get more and more of those. We can swap names out so that it's just, even the names sound like dirty and southern and, you know.
Yeah, Charlene yeah, she's the character on Ozark. She's got the curly blonde hair. And
interesting.
She's real foul mouth, like, well, fuck you, like every fuck is every other word.
Well, I kind of, well, that's funny that you read that character. I mean, you have it incepted into your mind already. But the way I pictured her was like, she's so wise beyond her years, and she sees straight through everything. She sees exactly what's going on. She knows the system and knows she can't get out of it. So like whenever she's like, "Oh, can I help you? You know, I want to do something for it." She's like, "Girl, you can't. Like, this is the system we live in. There's no getting out of it."
No, I totally. When she's like laughing at her, like, "Okay, you got $10,000. Yeah, I like that."
But that's why she ends up helping her later, you know, and like, because she is like, she's a good girl. This person 20 years older than me or whatever.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, this town doesn't really, there's not a whole lot of people that, there isn't anybody that is going to do anything about, like, that's the thing, is she's so jaded and just so used
that's
to
it. That's what it is. She's jaded, she's intelligent.
Yeah.
But the situation is she has a kid, she's got a dead-end job, you know, that's filled with...
I worked with so many women like this at Logan's Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah.
In Burleson.
I didn't know you worked there.
I worked there for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this is not mine.
These are not my people.
No.
Yeah, Burleson especially. It's full of... Yeah, anyway.
I worked there for like 90 days, and then I got the job at that place at the Omni in downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. This is Deb and Hale. Okay.
Maybe I want that off. And I want Hale... We gotta be smart whenever with whoever we cast for that.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, she's getting obsessed with this movie. She's a thoughtful person. She's got a successful enough career so that she's aware enough to where, okay, if things are not going her way, she's going to walk away from it. If she starts feeling that she's getting taken in by essentially this representation of patriarchy, she's quitting it. She's like walking away, you know, for her own sanity, and because she respects herself, because she lives outside of the system, and the system for women especially, let me camsplain it to you, is that you can't really believe in yourself because that doesn't work with what we expect of you out of society. You can't stick up for yourself. So, but she does. Hale does. Like, she's obsessed. She gets a little obsessive with this film, and she picks up on what it's throwing down, and it's weird. And then she starts going down this path, and she's like, "No, I don't like this path. I gotta leave." You know, this whole area is talking. Then she leaves. Now, I think Deb will assume her leaving is her getting kidnapped, but that's just because that's her mindset. She's like, "Oh, Hale's the next victim. Oh my God, you know, I gotta do something about it."
Right.
I don't know if that'll end up actually being the thing. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, like, whereas Deb goes down the path and keeps going down that path, Hale is like, "No, that's not great. I'm trying to support you here, but you're not meeting me halfway, so I'm out."
Yeah, Deb goes way down the rabbit hole and gets stuck down there.
Right. she goes down the rabbit hole and the dirt closes in on her.
Yeah.
Like the men stomp on the rabbit hole and then she gets trapped inside of it. Spooky analogy. That'd be a cool poster.
Tits and bits. I don't know why it sounds like a dog. Like it sounds like a strip club for dogs.
Tits and bits.
I don't know why.
They have a lot of tits.
It's because it makes me think of kibbles and bits. Yeah.
Kibbles and bits. Okay.
And they have multiple.
Well, hey, listen. Maybe that's the name of it is misogynist because it's like, you know, we're viewing these women as dogs.
As dogs. It's funny.
Maybe there's something to that. We can change the name from nipples and bits or something.
And it's like there's like a neon dog.
Or nips and bits. Yeah. And it's a dog barking.
Yeah.
With a bunch of like really big like. Yeah, that's bad. There's no reason there can't.
Like, these bitches will drive you wild.
That's pretty good. Honestly, that's pretty good.
Yeah. That'd be so messed up.
Hey, that's what it is.
I mean, that's what we're going for.
She's walking into it, man, willingly. Because I want that scene to be, especially that anybody connected to Nibbles and Bits is it's misogyny personified, right? Like it's just the grossest. Sure. Because we want all aspects of this, maybe not all, because that would be impossible, but a lot of aspects. We have the seedy underbelly, which is misogyny personified.
Right.
Exactly what you would expect, you know, just really gross, really, really gross people. Like when you walk in there, you're choking on it, you know.
Right.
The next group that she encounters is white collar, or at least upper middle class, maybe. It doesn't feel like they're having a good time, but it almost feels even more threatening to her. You know, they're physically manhandling her, you know, all this stuff.
Right. Yeah, like that's a pretty, like, they're like physically like that's like like that could be considered assault.
And just assuming that she's the hooker, you know.
Yeah.
Or, you know, cocktail waitress that I can hook up with if I want.
Hold on, sorry, I'm just checking on my phone because I was supposed to, like, I had a job interview yesterday at a golf course that I would really like to work at. And they're like, yeah, we'll be giving you, are you available for a call tomorrow, if, like, to let you know whether, you know. And I was like, yeah. So I keep, like, I'm like, please call me.
If the phone rings, please hang up and
also,
answer that.
I filed for partial unemployment because my flappers cut my hours so much. I'm only getting like 10 hours a week right now. So I filed for that, and unemployment is supposed to be calling me to, like, interview me about my eligibility or whatever. So I'm waiting for multiple different calls. So if I have to jump off,
that's totally fine.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to work on this is in this, what we have so far. this should all be from her perspective, and I'm open to cutting over to other things as well, but I don't really want... So, like, a lot of crime thrillers, they'll cut, especially if there's, like, a serial killer, although this guy's not killing anybody. Well, he killed one person so far, but... they'll cut over to, like... I don't know, someone setting up tools or like mysterious hands or, you know, whatever. Or sometimes they'll even establish that person as a character and then
he did that in 7.
Yeah, they'll keep cutting over to, but I don't know.
They would cut to him writing in his journal.
But I kind of want, and I don't know how to. I mean, I know if I'm clever, I can figure it out. But I want what she's doing, and it's if you're able to read between the lines, that's already what's happening. But the things that she's doing, the more deeper she gets and the closer she gets, the more it's upsetting the balance, and that's why he takes it to the next level. That's why he gets kicked out of the club, because he is taking it to the next level. So it's all these things that she's creating this domino effect that the girl that disappeared originally and that winds up in the field and getting mowed over by the tractor, she probably wouldn't have been like killed. She was still alive, but this police officer, Deb, starts asking questions and starts poking around. So he's like, oh, that must have been her that did it. And I told her if she was gonna start go to the cops, she's you know. So he does. He ends up and she doesn't have any family. She, you know, no one cares. Right. The owner of the tractor probably thinks it was a deer or something. Like all those machines are automated anyway, so whatever. Right. Anywhoots. So like there's things happening in the world that are results of what she's doing clumsily. Right. So yeah, I kind of, if we can make that a little more obvious. I don't know how exactly, but I mean,
I feel like it's pretty. I feel like if we made it, I don't know. I need to.
Sure. Actually go through it.
Go back through this again and make notes again.
But that's something I definitely want to do. Is that she's having a tangible effect on the world.
Right. And I feel like that is off. I mean, I feel like that's coming through.
Okay. Good. Okay, well, so then let's go in 6 months in the future. So the reason I have 6 months in the future is because the milk factory is in full production at this point. The girls are still like captured. They're about to start giving birth, but they're. Once they give birth, he releases them into the world, maybe a couple months after, so he can keep milking them, essentially. Or he has them send the milk, or I don't know, something gross. Either way, like they're about to start giving birth. Right. Although it might be kind of interesting if.
Can you? I don't know why I'm like paranoid that there's no way I would have like missed a call.
No, it should come in. But if you are, we can pick this up later. No problem.
No, I just want to I'm like, I don't know why.
Or you can hop it over to your laptop if your laptop has a camera.
Actually, do you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that. No problem. Okay.
Anyway.
So now you have your phone safe and sound.
There's there's nothing.
Go figure. You don't say. That's okay. It's okay. Now you have it, just in case you don't.
Yeah,
You
no,
won't be...
I feel like I can like this is better.
Good. What was it? Okay, so 6 months later, the girls are about to give birth. I just came up with the idea when I said that. What if, and I don't know, maybe not. What if one of the girls has like a miscarriage or something happens that goes against his plan, that they have to make like almost a public appearance or something? Like, I don't know. I don't know. This is the type of guy that is like, if he'd probably just like kill her or like release her or something if that happened, like.
Well, I mean,
but like, okay, because what I'm thinking is, she's not working for the Force anymore. She has no power behind her. So like.
Okay. Well, so yeah. So she's when they suspend her. Does that mean that she's just like? I mean, if she's still like had her badge and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, she's still getting a paycheck, but if it's 6 months later, she might just.
So she's still on that leave 6 months later.
Yeah, for sure. If not, just like actually fired.
Right.
Like maybe it was a temporary leave and then turned into actual. Yeah. She's just done.
It's tough to get fired as a cop.
Yeah, that's true. But if you're cramping their style.
That's true.
In a small town, I don't know.
Very true.
Anyway. So, that might be interesting because she doesn't have a badge. She doesn't have any power behind her.
Right.
So she's one of the only ways she would be able to follow up is if something big happens. Like I said, like if maybe she gets word somehow that one of the girls, had a miscarriage, got dropped off in front of a hospital.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That would be, because then, that kind of opens up.
But then the issue with that is that's undeniable for the police force as well. Or is it? Or is it that sinister?
Well, no, because miscarriages, if you have a miscarriage in Texas, you could actually not be the victim. You could actually be held accountable for like the murder of your baby.
That could be interesting to go into.
I mean, that's happening.
Yeah.
There's a mother and her daughter. I think they both ended up having to do some jail time.
Are you recording on your laptop, by the way?
Oh, no, I'm not.
I mean, that's okay. I'm recording your side, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, yeah. I've never done that on this laptop.
Oh, you're fine. I'm just gonna turn the volume up a little bit, but that's fine.
There was a mom and daughter who the mom helped the daughter procure an abortion.
Mm-hmm. Is that somebody important?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's another comic.
Oh. Comics are important.
Yeah.
Okay, so so that's actually happening. That might be interesting. That might open up a can of worms for our plot here, but I do like it. So we'll put a pin in that.
Yeah, because that would open up a whole thing. It's like if one of the if she would wish a doggo. If there were something to happen where he dropped her off at the hospital or just threw her at the foot of it,
right,
dumped her out of a car or something,
right, her story would be so intense. It would either have to be undeniable or totally unbelievable. People wouldn't.
What if it was he dumped her? What if he dumped her off there?
Mm-hmm.
But this girl is so traumatized and has so much PTSD.
She doesn't.
she doesn't talk.
Yeah.
Like, she's completely catatonic. Like, she's a total...
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't speak.
She's in shock. The whole... She just is mute, essentially.
Right. And so maybe... maybe I see... Maybe there's, like, she has no identification. She has no... She's just this woman who's been dumped at the hospital.
She is one of the daughters of the people, though. So, like...
Okay.
Maybe it's the daughter of the main, the main lady that's looking for her.
Yeah.
So she's like, no problem.
Maybe this could actually be a big... Okay, so she gets dumped off there, and it's like this big revelation. Like, maybe it's like this thing where it's like... Or maybe he doesn't dump her off at a hospital there in the town. Like, he dumps her off at a hospital that's, like, somewhere else.
Right.
In Texas, but far away from his factory and his whole operation. So he drops her off, but obviously these girls have now been... Have they been on the news? Has there been...
No, there's nothing.
Okay.
They just assume... They maybe assume they ran away, but it's like, 6-page... story in the local small town paper. Like, it's not it's just these selfish girls. They went off and started a life at whatever they assume.
Right. So maybe one of the well, I don't know, that, I mean, he either could drop her off somewhere in the town and just be like, fuck it, like, is he really caring or thinking about that? Or is he one of those, like, sickos? Or is this a whole thing where it's like they kind of want to teeter with getting caught?
Well, that's it, and we kind of talked about that before, is I don't know that he wants to get caught, but he's definitely proud of his work. Like, he's posting on job boards, he's doing or not job boards, he's not applying for anything. He's posting on message boards. If those even exist anymore, I don't know. I guess 8chan.
Like Reddit or whatever.
Yeah. So he's doing that, maybe. But we had talked about that, and I mean, maybe because that would be open to the world. So maybe that's what Deb is able to find.
Well, I was gonna say either he drops her off at a hospital somewhere else, and this thing happens where the cops are trying to figure out who this girl is, and one of them's like, hey, I heard there was some girls somewhere, my buddy works for blah blah blah, I'm gonna call down to them and see if this girl matches the
description of the girl, any
of these girls you've been missing down there, and blah blah blah. And
you so missing a pregnant girl? Yeah. No pregnant girls.
Right, she wasn't pregnant. Yeah. But so then, like, either that, and then they end up being like, oh, it's her, it's whatever, and then it's on the news.
Sure.
And then Deb sees it, and then she's like, oh fuck, and then she finagles her way into, and this girl won't talk, like, the girl still won't speak. But she's pregnant, she's miscarried now. She's not speaking, and they're making this out on the news. They're spinning this in some way to be like, this girl ran off, got pregnant, and then tried to kill her own baby. And the guy dropped her off at the hospital, and they're making her out to be this slut that everybody thought she was. And Deb is like, fuck this, I'm gonna expose that I know what actually, and she's like, oh, I know what happened. Like, in her head, she's like, or not know what happened, but like,
that's something. That's my spidey senses are tingling.
Right. So she somehow, even though, okay, so she's not on the force, anymore. She's not, but
what's his name? Mark is probably still her buddy. He like there's so she could get some help if she needed to. She
her way somehow into the hospital that this girl is being kept in. Maybe now she's been moved to a hospital in town, close to her family and whatever. But maybe she's, maybe it wasn't even just that she was having a miscarriage. Like, she's messed up. Like, her body's, she's malnourished. She's, Like they know that there's like stuff going on with her. Her body is not, she's not healthy. So she's still in the hospital. She's not speaking, but they're treating her like like she's done, like she did something.
She's obviously been on drugs the whole time because the guy drugged her, but they assumed she was just,
and there's cops
partying.
that have been in there to try to talk to her and try to get her to talk, and she won't talk to them. And so maybe Deb's like, I'm gonna go in there and I know I can get her to talk. Like, I know my womanly ways, like I'll be able to get this girl to talk. But maybe she uses Mark somehow to like help her get into the hospital to talk to her. And then maybe she gets in there. Either she's in there under the pretense that she's still a cop. And that's how she gets in. She pretends that she's still a cop to speak to the girl. Or she gets in there pretending she's like a family. Somehow.
We'll come up with something clever.
Yeah, somehow she gets in there and she ends up talking and getting the girl to speak. Maybe not exactly speak on just opening up and telling her everything that happens, but she gets the girl to talk.
But you know what? It could be that, okay, so it's 6 months later. She's probably on the side of women now, but she's been doing her own thing. This woman is on the side of women, finally. It could... Here's what might happen, because when she was in the barn that night, the girls were upstairs. They were just drugged out of their minds, so they, she just didn't see them. So it could be, they were hidden in the shadows, and... Maybe that's not true, but there was the heart monitor up there, so maybe it was... Oh, no, the heart monitor was the old girl that ends up getting dumped. That's right, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So never mind. Although I could put them up there, too. I mean, whatever. But if she did, she could get in there and, like... She recognizes her face because she saw her in the barn that night. So that's what makes her open up. Or it terrorizes her even more. I don't know. I don't know what the answer would be.
Yeah.
But what would be nice to kind of show that she's on the side of women is if she's able to get this woman to talk, and I forget the girl's name, but if she's able to get her to talk, maybe this is like, you can tell there's been a monumental shift in Deb. Like, she's really listening, she's really vulnerable, or like...
In whatever she says to her to get her to talk...
Right.
We could write something that's like, very like, oh, Deb's obviously...
She believes women now.
Believes everything now.
It's right here. Is this uncomfortably close? Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you like whatever we're talking about. I'm pre-recording this before I really crack into the editing, so I don't know what we're talking about right now. But hope you guys are enjoying. Hopefully we're not saying anything too offensive, or maybe it's the right kind of offensive. I don't know. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, all the things. Donate so that we can make this movie. All the monies go to making this movie. It's set up in a PayPal account that won't be touched until we start going into production. Or, like, I don't know, to create the website, or I don't know. I am an artist. Well, my dad is an artist. I run the company. I make films for it and all this stuff. So I have no money to fund a huge project like this. So we need all the help we can get. See you guys in a little bit. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. This is awkward, man. I hate asking for things. Something like that.
Like, maybe she's saying, like, listen, I know you don't trust, like, a single person with a dick between their legs. I get it.
Could be Mark is in there, even though she doesn't want to deal with Mark. But, like, she's like, Mark, get out of here.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. And then maybe she gets her to talk. Maybe she's, whatever we come up with.
Right.
It could be very clever.
Well, because she wouldn't know who the assaulter is still. Like, she would be able to tell her story, but she wouldn't be able to identify anything except that it was at that barn. But that would probably be enough for her to go back to that location, and she knows the property owner, and then... But she doesn't know... Yeah. She still doesn't know who the guy is, which is good, because otherwise she'd just go straight to the guy. So she still has to do some digging. She still has to figure it all out. But, right. And if anything, she might think it's Steve that keeps... Or Scott? Scott. She thinks it's Scott that, like...
Wait.
Whoever was the one that brought the moonshine at the very beginning to the cops, and the property owner, the owner of the barn...
Okay, yeah, I don't remember his name, but isn't Scott her brother, or no?
No, that's... it's Deb and Dan, I think.
Dan, that's her brother.
Or something like that.
Maybe it is Scott.
Or Dell. Dell would be kind of a fun...
That's a fun name.
Southern name, you know?
I like that name.
Delmar.
Yeah.
Do not seek the treasure. We thought you was a frog.
Yes.
Do not... Anyway, okay. So, I like that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't divulge who it was because she has no idea. She was drugged up and she's never seen this guy before.
Maybe it just takes a while. Maybe there's like this whole big thing of like, so she starts talking, and then say,
maybe it's not okay. So we've seen the battered woman in shock, or person in shock. We've seen that a lot in movies before, and I don't want to dictate the story just based on what we have and haven't seen in movies, but I kind of do too. But it's like we've seen that before, and they're just like, it was the barn,
right.
That kind of thing.
Like maybe for a minute she doesn't want to talk.
But then she totally does. She totally opens up, and she is in shock, but she was intentionally not talking to everybody else.
Right.
Like, it wasn't that she was out of her mind. She was just, she didn't want to talk to these guys. She didn't trust them.
Yeah, I think a really maybe cool thing would be for her to, Deb's like maybe really been working on her. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe it's not her first visit. She has to go a few times and maybe like warm up to her and be like, hey, like, okay, I know you don't trust me yet, and I totally get it, but like, and then maybe she finally...
What if, and we can reveal this later, the reason she full-on believes that she's the victim of abuse is because it's revealed later, the main reason that Deb stole Dan, or Delmar, whatever we call him, is because she was a victim of abuse from the new husband of her mom back in the day. That was the inciting incident. So, like, she recognizes, I've seen that look before on the news. Right. That's my girl. Like, I know that.
Totally.
And then that's revealed, and then it's a...
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
And then I think a really, like, just maybe... we could totally play around with this moment, but the first words she says, like, maybe it's like, Deb's like working on her and she doesn't really expect this to be the moment when she talks,
Right.
But, Deb's just saying, like, whatever it is that happened to you, like, I promise you, there's no better hands you could be in. There's nobody you could possibly tell.
And also, literally, I'm the only one that believes you, so I literally hear that there's only these hands.
Maybe the first words she says are because, I mean, if we really think about selling this to an audience, that this is what this guy is doing to these women, and it's so fucked up. Like, it's literally the most fucked up thing you can imagine somebody doing. So, if we're wanting these people to believe this, and people are not believing it, the first thing this girl says is, when I tell you what happened, you're not going to believe. Like, maybe the girl is really like, you are not going to believe.
That's why I didn't... That's not only do I not trust the men that are heading this investigation, they're also trying to pin me on the murder of this child. Right. And also, it's so wild.
fucked up.
It would make me look insane.
I can't even believe that, like, what has happened to me is real. So I think maybe one of the first things she says is just like, when I tell you this, no one is going to believe.
How about this? She's like, okay, listen, I believe you. You tell me. Right. And Deb is like, I don't have any power on the Force anymore except for Mark or whatever.
Right.
And that's really only because he's in love with me.
Right.
But she can use that.
Yeah.
But she's like, you know, that was just an innocent. He's like a nice guy, so, but he's also married, so I don't know.
Right.
Maybe not so nice, but anyway.
Yeah.
It's complicated. Okay.
We'll figure Mark. Yeah, Mark.
We'll figure Mark out. So she's like, I don't have any power here. I'm noticing, maybe at this point she's spotted that somebody is posting video. It's the guy, but she can't identify who it is because he's anonymous on 8chan or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a video of him pushing her out of the car in front of the hospital or wherever. So she's like, nobody else has seen this. This shows that it was not her doing it, that it was, you know, someone malicious. And she's like, well,
the story that maybe the news is spinning is that whatever guy she hooked up with in wherever she ran off to, it has now dumped her off.
Right, maybe something like that.
She is at the hospital.
Right.
But they're all maybe looking for this guy. Like maybe there is like a manhunt going on for this car. Like if you've seen this car with this license plate, whatever.
Maybe. But I like the idea that society is just blaming it 100% on the woman.
Oh yeah. No, I think so. But I'm just saying, like, maybe there is sort of like a thing where it's like, you know, I don't know. Doesn't have to be.
I don't know if that helps this.
Maybe the car. Maybe it's a car, but there's no plates. Maybe he just like, you know,
maybe
it's an indistinguishable.
Yeah.
It's like if you've seen this Honda Civic with no plate. I mean, it's kind of like in every car.
What if? And I don't know if this helps us at all, but it would be interesting if. No, I don't think it does help, but. Maybe it's like Honda Civic, no plates, whatever. It's from 1994, so it's old. It's an old jalopy. When she goes into the barn that night, she's kind of drunk, but instead of trying to make out with her girlfriend on hay bales, the car is right there, and they're trying to make out on the car or whatever. And she just, you know, assumes it's an innocent car or whatever.
Yeah. No, that could be a good way for Deb to start, like,
really thinking about it.
Really making connections.
And then, on top of that, because that could be the thing that connects her in the... Well, maybe, because the video would have to be uploaded later, and it would take a while for the news cycle to find it.
Yeah, and I mean, if it was using the same car, he could have a different car that he would, because like, I mean, he wouldn't probably use the same car that he'd have just sitting in a barn that anybody could see if I don't know. But he also just has women in there too. I don't know.
He's an idiot. Well, the barn is like secluded off, like it's on the back end of a property that nobody, you know, on a road that nobody goes down. So like, he feels pretty safe with that. But she could go to the barn and the car isn't there, but it's brought her to the barn. Like he's hidden the car, especially after it's gotten out on the news. He's like destroyed the car, but she's like, I know it was here because I was making out on it. You know, I know that this is, but the girls are gone. You know, everything's gone. Anyway, I think that all works. But what I was suggesting is, okay, she's like, okay, this kid put up this video. The only way to get one, to find these women, but also to get recognition because nobody's believing her, is to go in there and fight fire with fire and literally film it. And then we have the whole filming, you know, motif,
the camera,
putting it on video and whatever. It could literally even be this. No, it wouldn't be filmed. That wouldn't be practical. She just used her phone. But regardless, so she goes to the barn to try and find the women, and she's doing investigative journalism, and she's like live streaming or like, you know, something.
Yeah.
And you know, that's where the climax happens. Whatever it is that happens, that's where it happens.
I mean, to me, that sounds like a pretty... I mean, it sounds like a good way. We're on the right path, I think, to, like, connecting it all. But I like the idea that it's just another way. This girl being dropped off pregnant and in the most dire needs. Like, a woman going through a miscarriage is literally one of the scariest things a human being can go through. And they're accusing her
of murdering it.
And they're calling her, on the news, maybe she has a nickname now, like they make it something really...
Right. And Deb is like, you know, the further the case progresses against her, like, Deb is like, the only way to show that this girl is innocent and also stop the patriarchy, essentially, stop the misogyny, and also find these other women, I gotta do it live. I gotta go in there and start broadcasting on... Is this Harry's daughter? I'm thinking this is the woman...
Vanessa's daughter.
Yeah.
Audrey, I think.
Audrey, yeah.
Maybe something... I mean, depends on how hard we want to hit the nails on the head here, but, like...
It could be any of the daughters, obviously, but I was thinking if it's Audrey, Vanessa would just be happy to have her home. Like, she wouldn't really...
well, I was saying another element to just drive home the misogyny would be that, like, this girl's father, like, disowns her publicly in a press conference.
So yeah, maybe that's the danger. Maybe it is the other guy who would do that kind of thing.
That's what I'm like. Maybe they do a parent press conference and everybody's expecting him, like a parent, to get up there and defend their child.
Right.
But he gets up there and is like, you know, I didn't raise her like this. And,
yeah.
You know.
Ooh, that would be heavy, man. Yeah.
And then that poor girl has literally fucking no one.
Yeah. And that's exactly what the guy who kidnapped her wanted.
Yeah, I knew, and that's why he takes,
That'd be great. Okay, that's good. That's really, really good. And then she can... I don't know if she gets rescued or what ends up happening, but she's at least enlisting maybe Mark for security purposes, and also Vanessa, because Vanessa probably believes her. She's probably like, oh, well, obviously... What my daughter's wherever, so I'm on your side. What do you want to do?
Right. If you're close to where my kid is, then
so she has like some sort of backup. So maybe there's like some sort of plan that they make.
We need to give some people to like.
Yeah, for sure.
Besides Deb.
Yeah. Well, and that she has a little bit of not protection, but like if something goes wrong, there's something.
A team of some sort.
Or maybe she's like, hey, Mark, hey, Vanessa, okay, I'm going to go do this ridiculously dangerous thing. You have to do this other thing. I know you're on my side, but the only way that we're going to get this thing seen is if you're, I don't know, doing something. I don't know. So they're out of the picture. So it actually is Deb all by herself. Like, there's no backup. There's no, in the live stream.
Yeah, maybe,
And now imagine this. Imagine how intense it would be. And I've done this for a short film before, and it was really, really tense. That's the whole climax of the scene takes place. The viewer is literally watching.
Being shot on the phone. Yeah.
Is being shot on the phone. So like you're
like live stream.
You have no idea what's behind you. You're coming up on the fridge with the milk. You're looking around. Yes. And she's maybe got it in her pocket or something, so it's, stable or whatever. But that would be freaking tense.
Yeah.
Especially if... Okay, so I wrote this short film for this film festival that was... the intention was all the films are shot on a phone for whatever reason.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, what would...
Oh, yeah.
You
sent me the short film.
Did I? Okay, well, yeah. So...
the guy gets... Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of tension is that with that film was, okay, we're watching the live stream. What happens if the live stream buffers? So like, he's in the middle of like talking straight to camera, saying something real scary, and then suddenly the loading screen is there. Like, that kind of stuff can happen while she's...
And what's happening in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be spooky.
That's really great.
Yeah. Cinematic, even. One might say.
One might say. One might use that word.
Yeah, that'd be really, really good. Okay, so the only other... I think that's solid. That's totally solid. Because she can talk to Scott, the dad of the incel, who's the charmer guy, who she saw at the thing. And that is kind of what reveals... because there's also this other thing going on that they're plotting, that the Elks Lodge is plotting. So she can talk to him about that and figure out how to resolve that, and that's tense, and she drops hints about his son who's just trash.
Yeah.
His son's the one that broke into the Elks Lodge, and then he was hitting him, because he's not supposed to be there anymore.
Right, right.
So there's that connection. There's another one of the clues on the back of the map that she found is BBB, and I thought that would be kind of cool if, because it's all these abortion or at least female healthcare places that have been firebombed or destroyed somehow.
Oh, yeah.
I thought BBB would be she can't figure out what that is, but maybe she sees an ad on TV. Or somehow she finds out that it's a law firm that supports women. It's I don't know, Basket and Bernard and whatever. It's BBB, whatever it is. But it's all these women that are supporting all these women, and and the group is doing, maybe not firebombing that law firm, but they're doing something to shut it down so that women have no protection. That law firm's the only one in the county, maybe even in that area of Texas, that will fund these women.
Right.
Or protect them legally. So that's what the BBB is.
Okay.
And it could be she sees it on TV and she goes there, and then the place is either abandoned or something, and you realize, oh, they got to him. Yeah. And now, because that law firm is gone, this woman who gets dumped has no legal protection. And maybe even her lawyer is listen, if you just admit that you killed this kid, we can maybe get you off, all this stuff.
Right, yeah, maybe so the character of Vanessa, if Deb is to sort of recruit her into the whole thing, maybe kind of like Deb, Vanessa is she's on their side, but she's still a little her daughter is missing, and she's it would be another way to drive home that all these women, a lot of these women in this town are so brainwashed and so gaslit to not even. Even cool. When their own daughter is missing or whatever, but maybe Vanessa, is kind of maybe she's I'll help, I want to help, how can I help? And then she ends up trying to coax this girl into saying just admit. She
does her own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But she's not help. She is not. No, helping.
Of course not.
Vanessa, she thinks she is because she's doing a thing. But and she's she thinks that if she just
and actually that fits Vanessa's character, because the way we meet her is she's doing her own investigation. She's
she's talking to the cop, and she's and then maybe Vanessa brings in a lawyer and is look, I've brought this lawyer in, and she's gonna help you, or they're gonna help you, and it is a lawyer who's we can do a plea deal. Yeah. All you have to do is admit that you didn't want this baby, and and we can get your health records, maybe the lawyer has this, so not, she's still in the hospital because she's been malnourished, right. And she weighs 50 pounds less than she did when she left, but even though she was pregnant and all this stuff, and so maybe this lawyer's listen, we can try and go for the fact that your health was in such, obviously you miscarried because your health was in such bad shape, but we can go that you had an eating disorder. And maybe they try to go through this whole thing where she's like, we can go the eating disorder route and the mental health route. And the girl is just sitting there, like, not talking.
He's so dismissive, just trying to figure out what either lie to come up with or.
To on her, like, okay, maybe, they're still making it about her and.
Maybe there was an ex-boyfriend that you wanted to run off to.
Yeah, like they're creating all these stories for her, hypothetical stories saying, take this.
Vanessa's like, yeah, the ex-boyfriend, that's great.
Yes. Right. Like Vanessa's like sitting there going, "Yeah, honey, come on. Like this is the best option you're gonna get,
Mm-hmm.
And then,
at least he believes that you're not a murderer.
And maybe that's kind of also what prompts the girl to talk, is because she knows that if she doesn't, they're gonna put words in her mouth for her.
Right.
And then finally, she's like, "Okay, Deb, like,
listen. I'm not mute."
Right. And none of that is true.
I love that moment because the entire time, especially if it's taking a while for Deb to get to her, the entire time we're cutting to her, talking to the lawyer, talking to the cops, blah, 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 and she's not talking. Like, as an audience member, you'd probably assume she's in shock or she's just out of it.
She's so traumatized.
Whatever. And then Deb gets to her and she's like, "Listen, Deb."
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't want it to be like this frail, like...
Right, totally.
Can I... Like, like...
These MFers are saying nonsense. They are not believing me. Right. They're blah, 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 blah. And she just...
fucking say
and then literally, Deb could just be there smiling because, like, she's like, you are a beautiful, intelligent, like, strong, incredibly strong woman, Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and that would just be like a huge moment for everybody to be like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
Like,
so
maybe we end like that scene, like that whole thing ends like really uplift, like not uplift, not happy.
Totally. It's like we're gonna take this down. We're gonna take this system down.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Powerful. Okay, so the situation that Deb finds herself in 6 months later, her house has been foreclosed on. She now lives with her mother, and her brother doesn't live there, but he's there all the time. So there's that element. She's taking care of that, and it's nicer because she is there with her mom, but she doesn't have the independent. It's this whole thing.
Right.
That's where she finds herself. She's broke. She's still getting. Well, she was getting paid for like 3 or 4 months from the police department before she got officially fired.
Yeah.
So she still has a little bit of money, but nothing crazy. Yeah. So and we've kind of built in the mother character. The brother could probably come in. I don't know. Maybe the brother is on her side no matter what because he's like the only nice guy in the whole movie.
Yeah.
So maybe he's on the team somehow. Maybe it's his idea to like film the whole thing, like go do a live stream and go into the barn and do all of it.
Maybe Deb doesn't even like ever really know how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe her brother, like maybe he's like he streams on Twitch or something.
Yeah, I mean that's his personality type. Is he's kind of.
Maybe she goes over to her mom. We can put somewhere where she goes back over to her mom's house for. Whatever reason.
He's on a gaming laptop or something.
And she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, fucking stream, whatever." And then she kind of like clocks that, know, and she says something like, "Oh, so everybody can see like what you're doing like right now."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm being watched by like so many people."
Right.
And then later, maybe she like. That's what makes her think.
Well, yeah, we could even play that like Deb is just not good with technology. She's from a small town, whatever. It's like Hale's the one who found and set up the projector. Hale's the one who did this. Her brother does. He's
always been the girl that plays in the dirt and doesn't do computers and phones and.
We could even do. She likes to keep it old school. She likes antiques. Like she doesn't.
Yeah.
We could even have like she's missing calls in her.
Yeah.
She leaves her phone in her car. She just doesn't even really think about it.
Right.
That'd be kind of fun.
And we can maybe write dialogue where she's like always like saying stuff about other people's tech and their,
Right.
maybe she gives Hale a hard time for being on social media, but she's like, I'm an artist, like you have to,
that's the only way to do it.
And she's like kind of famous. Hale's like kind of,
yeah, for sure.
So she's like very active on social media and promoting herself.
That'd be interesting. That'd be kind of cool.
And it's a contrast. It's a huge contrast.
Yeah, for sure.
Between her and Deb.
Yeah.
And it's very common in relationships where you have one who's like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like me. I'm like super active in social media, and Eric is like,
no, of course.
He's the IT guy.
Yeah. In fact, if anything, that's why he's not, because he knows. He knows.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I think that's really solid. And man, that's a really good way for it all. I have no idea where it's going to go after that. Like, I don't know what happens to her. Because endings, especially with something like this, are
so hard. Just to wrap that all up, it's like, and to tie in, like, you have the men's club.
Yeah.
Like, how do we...
Yeah, I don't know. But this is really, really solid, and it is thrilling.
I really love this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is the live stream... I guess maybe she could be broadcasting on the brother's Twitch channel, because he has followers or something. And actually, maybe a lot of his followers are, like, incel types or something. But anyway... I don't know, maybe...
That's a good point. Maybe it's like this cute, weird little scene, kind of cute and weird, and it is obviously like a foreshadowing kind of scene, but she's like, pulls up a chair and like sits down and kind of like goofs off with him a little bit on the stream, and then she sees the chat coming in, where it's like really misogynistic.
Yeah.
And like, you know, why isn't she in the kitchen?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm to go make you a sandwich, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, ew.
And it's like incestuous comments and all this stuff.
Yeah. Have you ever watched her shower? Like, you know, and maybe she's just like, ew, these are your fucking fault. Like, these are the people that like watch your shit.
Yeah.
Like, gross.
And he could even be like, oh no, I see this button here, that's an Instaban.
I can... Yeah.
Like, I hit this button in their band, and I do it.
Yeah, no, I don't like, yeah, fuck those guys. Like, no, like, fuck.
No, look, I'm banning them right now. Just everyone, I do it.
Right, she's like, yeah.
It's like speed dial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's like a little brotherly, sisterly, kind of like, in the moment, she's not thinking, like, she's clocking it, obviously, because she's like, she's on her journey to hating men. She's on her journey to, you know, not, I shouldn't say hating men.
Right, yeah.
But, you know what I mean.
Alright, in an effort to not ask for things specifically, I hope you're having a good time. Maybe we're on in the background, you know, maybe you got some ideas. Pitch us your ideas, we might throw it in there, you know, I'm still writing the script, so, how are you guys feeling out there? Scary? It's a scary time to be alive, you know? Democracy hangs in the balance, and so do women's rights, so... We're trying to get this thing funded. We're trying to get this thing going. So it's an important story that if you have like any women in your life, or you're just an empathetic, good human, you should. I'm not trying. I hate doing this because it sounds like I'm co-opting the issue into our own, like, you know, trying to use it to further ourselves. But we just want to tell this story. And we think it's important, and you know what? We use art to communicate what is inside of us. So this is stressing us all out. So that's the whole thing. I'm not supposed to be on camera. That's why I have an actress doing this for me. Next week, she will hopefully be doing these ads. So. You won't have to see this thing. Okay, see you in a little bit.
She's on her journey to understanding the patriarchy, and maybe she. So we want her to be, because we don't want him to be like the guy that saves the day. And
no, not at all. No, he's. I mean, he's a gamer guy. He's not. He's not a take control. He's very much, and we can maybe label that in the beginning. He's a lot of talk, but he doesn't have a lot of follow through.
Well, that's how most of those
Yeah.
They're real tough behind a computer screen.
Right. So like, yeah, she had all the. Well, and also like, she was the one who saved him from, when they were kids. Like he was never the leader type. She is the leader type. So he's like, yeah, you can use I have like 50,000 followers on Twitch. Feel free to use my live stream to do this terrible, terrible idea you have. Right. That's really kind of the only way I can show you how the algorithm works. Yeah. And then she's like, I don't know what you're saying to me, but if it gets this case going, then sure.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe she comes to him like kind of like energetically, like she has this idea. Mm-hmm. Like she all clicks in her head, and she goes to him and she's like, listen, I know this sounds fucking crazy, but like I need you to give me your login. I need to log into your It would actually be kind of sweet in the same way that Girl with the Dragon Tattoo at the end in the coda, it's really good. In the coda, she's like, hey, Daniel Craig, James Bond, I need $50,000 to do this thing. I'll get it back to you in like a couple weeks. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. What's it for? Like he's totally doesn't ask questions. He just believes her, and he's like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, here you go, no problem. Right. And she can be doing this big ask. Hey, I need your login stuff for this thing, and he's like, yeah, okay, yeah. What do you need it for? And then, but like and it's a really heartwarming moment in Dragon Tattoo when that happens, because she's asked, the last time she was asking for money, she was getting raped for it. Yeah. And that was from her own therapist. Anyway. Yeah, maybe there's like a cute little moment where he's like, if I lose followers because of you. Yeah, and he's just like, joke, whatever. Yeah. He's fun. Yeah. Well, it could even be like, well, this would be a great way to get some followers. This would be pretty exciting, honestly. He's joking with it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe he's like, oh, are you gonna do some real like cop shit on my show? Maybe she's like, yeah, it's gonna be some real cop shit. Like, can I, use your? Maybe. Maybe it would be even like if he was in the middle of streaming, like while she comes in, and he's like, all right, guys, get ready. Everybody, you're about to see some crazy shit go down. Just hold on. And so he ends up like actually kind of promoting it in a way, and like saying like, my sister's a cop and she's gonna do some crazy cop shit, and you guys need to stay tuned. I like that. That's kind of fun. And maybe she is like, okay, all you fucking incel fuckers. Like, yeah. That's fun. I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool way to. It is. It's super cool. And also, the movie's been so dang dour this whole time that, like, having some, okay, we're on boots on the ground, we're getting some stuff done. Yeah. And it's relevant to just, like, the times. And like, this is how things happen. Like, I think so. Live streaming and Twitch and. So the way that the film ends up playing into it is. The further she gets into, and maybe the whole climax isn't on the phone, but it's like a big part of it. Because what ends up happening is, and it's in the short film version of the script, is that the real world, because she gets like captured and drugged or whatever, so the real world starts blending in. She essentially feels like she's inside of the film that she was obsessed with. And then that bleeds into she's reliving moments in her own life, on like VHS style or whatever, just things from her own, like dark memories from her own thing. So that it kind of blends all the films that are happening, the original one, the incel boy one, and also now hers. They're all blending together. Right, I love that. And it becomes like a trippy, whole thing. And I don't know how it'll end, but we'll figure it out. I guess maybe if that was happening on live stream, in reality the cops would be called, and, I don't know how long it would take them to get there, but. Well, I think that could happen. Yeah. I mean, ultimately it could be one of these people who are watching the live stream is like, oh, like, should I fucking, like. Right. Because she says she's a cop. Yeah. I think that'd be okay. Well, and also, like, she's asking, or she's not asking, but they are
like this is it's not just a small town issue, but there are going to be people in the rest of the world that are like that believe her. Obviously, as they're watching it too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like now it's being exposed. So there's everybody's. If he has like 50,000 followers, there's people from all.
And it could be while she's walking around, she's telling the whole story of what's happened.
And I maybe at one point, once she realizes she's in huge danger, she starts telling them like, "Hey, if you're watching right now, this is a good time to call this is a good time to call 911."
Yeah.
Or like whatever. And so maybe some people are like, is this real? Like, should we really call it?
Right.
And maybe there's like a group of guys. Maybe it's something. Maybe I don't know. This might be too funny, but like, but it could be like a group of gamer dudes who are like, just drive, call. Maybe one guy's like, no, this isn't real. Like this is this is like fake or whatever. And the guy, maybe one of the guys is like, no, I think this is really real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think she really does. Like I think, or maybe it's a group of. No, that would be really dope. I don't know. I'm getting all these ideas. Maybe it's a group of gamer girls. Maybe it's like some like girls who watch this channel. Nobody ever gets to see women in this light, but
yeah, that's true.
Maybe it is a group of women who are watching, who are like gamers, and like they're watching, and they're like, call right now, like call 911. This lady's like, are you kidding me? Like, are you crazy? Like, yeah, we have to help. And so like they call 911, and then they tell them what they're watching. Like, you know. I know this sounds crazy, but this lady is like, she's and like blah blah, and there's like women, and they're like whatever.
Very descriptive.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then there could be this whole thing where it's not on the live stream anymore. Now we're back to
live stream buffers, cuts out right at the climax when everyone's like, okay, I think I'm gonna call, cuts out.
Exactly.
And then it's and
that's what makes people call even more is that it's, you know, maybe we cut to multiple people calling 911.
Yeah.
Like it's like there's a bunch of people who are like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right. I think that works. And who knows what happens, but yeah, I think that works.
It would be a really interesting thing if we cut to like multiple different people watching this live stream, like, and how different people react to watching something like that. And then I mean, not to get too far ahead, but I mean, if we were to,
hold that thought. I gotta go pee again.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to too.
At some point, I'm gonna beat you. Oh, you got me. Kisses.
Okay. No, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
He's a big fluffy buddy.
He's a big floofer.
Alright, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm working.
He's so big and so floops.
Okay. What were you saying?
Yeah. So it would be. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how you want to end a movie like this.
I don't know, man.
Because there's like the happy everybody wins, and everybody that we love wins, and then there's like the realistic ending where it's like nobody ever really wins.
Right. Well, I think here's the thing, and you have to kind of play with politics when you're doing endings of movies, especially one that has to deal kind of with politics. So horror movies not that this is more, definitely a thriller more than a horror, but
psychological and.
But normally, it's like, all right, it's the last girl, she survives, or it's if we want to get edgy, she dies. You know, that's like one of two pathways. Those are both way too easy. I think there's got to be a happier middle ground. There's got to be something that's honest and clever.
Exactly.
I don't know what that is.
So, do we have it to where So what would I mean? There's multiple parts of Deb's life. Like.
Let's follow the character. Like, what's been going on with her?
Her and Hale. Where is that?
I think Hale's just out of the picture now. I mean, she might show back up. Like, she might call her or something. Maybe. maybe internet stream cuts out. She doesn't know how to get it back on because it's Deb.
Right.
But the stream's gotten attention, and Hale is like, holy crap. Maybe Hale's the one that calls the cops. Either way, she like, Hale calls her, and maybe that's, something. Maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
But Hale could show back up after she's like, oh, she's like better now, or she's like believing it now.
Yeah.
I don't know. She doesn't have to. It could just be she said deuces and she's off having a career.
It would be. I don't know. It might. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, because I think in my mind, my gut, my heart is telling me that we need to end this somehow with Deb moving away from this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't want to kill her. That's too easy.
No, but I want her to be smart enough to get the fuck out.
Right.
Like, either. Okay, so we either go in my. This is just in my mind. Totally. She's either gonna get the fuck out, or we end it where we leave it open to.
I hate open to interpretation. I hate that.
No, I wasn't gonna say that.
Okay.
Open to the fact that she could stay, but like in my mind, like try to run for office, or try, or like we have some kind of thing where she's gonna stay and she's gonna
change things.
Try and change things in that town.
I don't know, because the healthy.
I think she needs to run.
Yeah, the healthy situation is she's going to follow Hale's lead and just be like, this is not healthy for me or for anyone. I recommend women in these situations, hey, you got to get out of here. I mean,
right.
I mean, if you're really following the misogynistic mindset, or not mindset, but that path of what you got to do when you're in an abusive relationship is, I mean, you got to try and get out. So that's what she's in, an abusive relationship with this town and society, but especially this town. So she's like, I've had enough. I got to get out. That's all I can do.
I think it might be interesting if
there we go.
I mean, that might be too much of a happy, drippy ending if she gets out and goes and finds Hale and is like, hey.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But maybe she gets out and we end on her. I don't know. It all depends. We either just end on her leaving and getting the fuck out, and then we're just like, we don't know what she does after that, but it's better than being there. And now
because she gets out and absolutely nothing changes in that town. Somehow there's a scene maybe with Mark or something, but like nothing changes.
Yeah.
Because that's
because it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And but maybe nothing changes in that town.
Yeah.
But maybe we do show that ultimately this story is about how one person at a time. Like Deb is a new person. Deb is not the same person that she was in the beginning of this story.
I hope not, because that would be a boring movie.
Right. So Deb is a completely different person now. These girls that were all found, they're all fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, we've got this now, there's that.
That's true. It's, even if she gets away, it's not a happy ending, because this terrible stuff has happened.
And all these girls that were found that were
and
babies.
Incel Boy gets away too. That's in the short film. Is like he gets away, like, because of course he does.
I know, and I hate you. I know the there's always that thing in you that goes, I want to leave it open for a sequel.
Oh. Maybe there's always that thing in you. I have no problem closing it out.
It's so hard. I'm always like, but you want to make it like.
No. I don't.
I think that it would be like if we did round it out with Deb leaving, maybe seeking therapy, maybe she goes to talk to a therapist, maybe she's like, I don't know, she's like gonna focus on herself, just something that shows that Deb is like, because I think people want to
Is this too dark? Deb gets away, she totally learns, it's great, but the other girls, because Incel Boy realizes the jig is up, essentially, he like kills him. Deb's able to get away and live this new life, but it was essentially at the expense of these girls.
Yeah. Maybe Deb doesn't get away being the hero of the day who saved all the girls. Maybe Deb moves away because she's even more fucked up now than she was. Maybe
on the live stream, she's looking around, and then she's like, "Oh, I found the girls!" And then they're dead.
They're dead.
She didn't get to them in time because of patriarchy, of course, but also because, like, she had to live stream it, and that got in. He's an incel, so he's paying attention to that stuff, and he pulls the plug on him, and then gets out of town, and that's how he gets away. Is like, she's been live streaming for the last few hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he sees it, and he's like, "Oh, all right, I gotta kill these girls." Bam, bam.
Yep, I'm done.
Doesn't shoot him, just literally pulls the plug on their things, the things keeping them alive, and then he gets out of Dodge. Of course, then I don't know, because then she's not in any mortal danger. Maybe she doesn't have to be. Maybe she doesn't have to be. Maybe the whole scene where she goes through her past and all that's just an emotional. She gets there and we kind of go into her own mind when it comes to the...
Yeah, in my mind, that's what it is. It's her, like, kind of, like, it's...
It's all of it.
It's the trauma of everything that she's been through. It's everything kind of coming to a giant...
Right.
It's like, when people have a psychotic break, it is like a... She's not having a psychotic break, but it is like
it's
a
close.
Mental break. It's like a total... Yeah, everything just exploding.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially she's in that place. It's dangerous as all get out, because or at least she senses that it is. The guy is probably long gone, but she doesn't know that.
Well, it's the elements of everything that's been happening in that space. It's that energy. It's that.
What if? Well, I don't know. I was gonna say, because I like the idea of the guy or the girl who shows back up, and it's the guy abandons live on TV, is like, that ain't my daughter, that kind of thing.
Yeah, disowns her basically.
I didn't raise no slut, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe the kid gets out, but the threat comes from someone else in the group that he was formerly part of, like someone from the Elks or someone from the bar, like, or something like that.
Oh.
I was gonna say he, but he's already served his purpose by abandoning the daughter, so whatever.
Right.
But that's really just to add an element of danger. I don't really need it.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, I think that any way we can tie in. I mean.
Like, it gets to the point where, like, are you just adding elements just to make it clean, or is it does it serve the story?
Yeah. Because I think everything that we've come up with to this point is all really good as far as like a plot.
Sure.
And like connecting dots and making everything make sense and be exciting.
Right.
And real and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
The Elks Lodge, I think it's because we talked about making it to where like this guy's thing, he wasn't just maybe a lone wolf crazy guy. Maybe this is some tied into some.
Well, he's taking it to the next level. So like the Elks Lodge is they've firebombed or at least shut down all these places that support women that want abortions. They're putting up literal roadblocks at the crossroads that lead to abortion clinics or that lead to whatever. That's their ultimate goal. He took that to the next level where he's like, I respect women so little because I've been brought up in this environment. I'm doing all this stuff. Their ultimate goal, I mean, they kind of win at the end of the day, is they've shut down these abortion clinics. Maybe they're the ones convincing everyone, like, almost convincing the news that, like, they're the ones behind the efforts to put the blame on this poor victim girl, whatever her name was.
I think that's a good way to showing how the news is influenced by money and power. I think would be like maybe that's it. One of the guys in the Elks Lodge owns the news. Like he owns the local news.
Newspaper or whatever.
Yeah, the local news network, like the local news. Yeah.
That'd be good.
And maybe, I think that would be a good way. Somehow the Elks guys are the ones who they're the Rupert Murdoch or whatever.
Could be Scott.
Yeah.
Like I had him as like an old farmer boy, but he could just be like a local news. You know, he owns the networks, so he owns land because he's got money.
Yeah.
Is that too easy? Too obvious? I don't know. Might be.
I mean, it might just be that we have one of the
I do like that though, because like, you know, if he's like the news anchor or the news whatever, and we know that, and we put that in, you know, that's why he's hanging out with the cops at the beginning, because they're all chummy, because, you know, all that stuff. And then
we might be able to put a scene in there where they're like, when the news is breaking, like when the news is getting out that the girl's been dropped off. There's like one of those scenes where they're in the newsroom and they're putting together the piece that they're about to like break or whatever, and he's like, no, don't.
He's like, wait a second, something smells fishy, no pun intended, ladies. You know, something.
Yeah, maybe he's saying they're like, okay, we're, you know, they're reading off the story, and he's like, no, don't call her a victim, or don't.
Right.
Like
we don't know the story here.
Right, he's the one who starts changing the language, and and then maybe we have another time when we see him say like, they should come up. I feel like there should be like a nickname for her that's like really derogatory, like
definitely
still no news on the, you know, I don't know.
Right. Slutty Sally, or you know, something.
Yeah, something not like so like.
No, yeah, not so obvious, but yeah.
And maybe at first they're like about to break the news, and he's, you know, he's like, no, stick with the, stick with it, stick with the name.
And legit, he doesn't realize that it's his own son that's doing all this. One, because he's an absent father, but two, it's because he's not covering for him. It's more powerful if he's just doing it because he's a man and he's in the system.
Right.
It just happens to be that the perp, the suspect, is his own kid.
Yeah.
Or he's like a hotshot lawyer or something, or like something that, like, because if he was the mouthpiece somehow, like, I do like the idea that he's in control of the message.
He's in control of it somehow.
But it's cleaner from a production standpoint, for sure, if he's the one saying the words, like, well,
changing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't call her a victim, but, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Newsroom that's probably not terrible.
It might be a little too, like, obvious.
I don't know. I don't hate it, though.
It's just, whatever. The Elks Lodge is a great place for someone to work who has control over the narrative.
The narrative, for sure. Okay.
Or who at least has influence, or
I don't know. I think if it's Scott and he's newsman, not an anchor, but he's the head editor in chief or something.
Like a story editor, or
because then all you need is like an office or a room, and it's a bunch of writers sitting around a table, that kind of thing.
Right.
And then later that night, it's a news broadcast with the updated language, which is what Deb sees, and I think so. This is going to be an epic movie. It's already 91 pages long, and we can trim stuff, but it doesn't seem to be going that way.
Hey, man. Everybody's making long movies these days.
Yeah. The story's the story. What I do like about it is that it's all reality-based. I mean, there's, like trippy, mind-bendy scenes in it, but it's like... It's not like a science fiction, no, it's all relevant. We just need it's people talking,
Yeah.
And in offices and churches.
You started Fargo, the new season of Fargo yet?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but
I haven't either.
I don't know if it's out, but I'm excited.
It is out.
It's John Hamm.
I haven't started it yet.
Every time I do this, the longer I do it, the more progressively delirious I become, I think, because I don't like saying the same thing over and over, and the more I do it, the more it feels desperate. Cosmo, get out of my bedroom. Cosmo, you guys gonna join me? Hey, sorry, out of the bedroom. Thank you. Quit missing the squibsies. Ow. Okay. All that said, please like and subscribe and comment so we can get this movie made. Make a dream come true. And also, we'll donate money to progressive causes. Because, this is a community effort, and none of this sounds genuine because I hate asking for money. You guys, this is terrible. I hate it. But it's the way the modern world works. So I get extra delirious the longer I have to do this. But I have to do it because the algorithm, the patriarchy, which probably creates the algorithm. Okay, guys. See you in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm really happy to be touching on these subjects.
Mm-hmm. From a production standpoint, I don't know in my mind we're filming it in Waller because it's literally this. But I don't know what small town is going to let us tell this story making fun of their small town, However, the only scenes that they need to be privy to are the police department scenes, and that's fine. That's not too bad. But
there are,
we can figure it out. We'll figure it out. Maybe it's Burleson. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Even that's going to be tough. The thing maybe to do would be, Austin is, about the most liberal, obviously, area of Texas. So,
for sure.
It would be like to find some...
Well, and that's where Friday Night Lights was filmed, and they made that seem like the tiniest little town.
Right. I know that there would be, in Austin, it's the capital. I know it's where a lot of, people who are fighting for, women's rights and
actual legislation is happening there.
Right. So I think the Austin area might be a good place for us to
maybe one of the little suburbs of Austin or something.
Yeah. There's all kinds of areas around Lake Travis and all that, San Marcos and there's tons of tiny little towns.
Because if we could get some of the, like we said before, if we could get some of the people that are actually in the real world, boots on the ground, and trying to, if we can get them involved,
working in this,
that'd be great.
That would be amazing. Especially if we could get sponsorships from, like, I mean, I don't know, just like,
of course,
like, there's all kinds of stuff. And I know, I you know, if we were really the casting offices in Austin and everything, like, I'm really, you know, like Vicky Boone casting, and I know there are a lot of like female casting directors. Beth Sepko, she cast Idiocracy.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
Yeah, Idiocracy was shot there.
It could be. We could say this is like Idiocracy.
Yes.
But it's real. And it's not funny, and it's terrible.
Exactly.
And everything's terrible.
Everything's sad.
And everything's sad.
But
what's up?
I know, Monies, I'm sorry. You got a big floofer. I have a tiny little floofer.
Mine's a lot heavier.
Yes. There's a truck backing up outside me.
Oh, that's scary.
Like it.
I gotta take him on a walk soon anyway, but I think we really got something here.
Yeah.
That is some momentum. I say that every time we've had one of these calls, but like...
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Like light bulbs just start going off.
Well, yeah, but like, not momentum with us creativity.
Yeah.
But in the script, like, it's like...
Oh, I know.
You just punched me in the face. Get down.
And I think that like it really will start to get the fire going when the girl gets dropped off.
I'm thinking that'll be the thing that happens 6 months later. Bam.
Boom.
Girl gets dropped off. We cut to Deb hanging out with her mom and the new life.
Yeah.
Cut to newsroom, you know? And I like the idea that we're breaking the kind of the rules that we've established with the film, where it's like, this is all from Deb's perspective, this is all this way. Now it's bigger because it is bigger, you know? So we're cutting to these other scenes, we're cutting to these other people that we've established, but we don't, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It'll change up the I don't know, the what do they call it? Not the tone, or speed, but just the flow of it, in a good way.
Maybe they call her the mysterious miscarriage murderer.
Oh yeah, that's kind of fun. It's like total tabloid title.
Yeah, right, like TMZ style, like ridiculous.
Mysterious miscarriage murder.
That.
Yeah. It's like we're not saying anything for sure.
Right.
But maybe.
Right. Maybe we have a news anchor woman who's like, I'm not going to say this. Like, maybe we do have, like, one moment of, like, a woman who's about to report on it be like, you know.
Right. Tonight at 10, the woman that's been dropped off, that was dropped off, maybe it's not as simple as it seems.
Yeah. Miscarriage, or is it murder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's literally happening right now.
I know.
I could probably send you like 5 articles.
No, I know, but just the spin of it on news, you know.
Yeah.
Why isn't she being more forthcoming? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. What is she hiding?
Yeah. Ugh. We spoke to her father, and then that whole thing happens.
And then he's out there going, I didn't raise no girl like this. I didn't raise her to be like this. You know, I raised her to appreciate life. And, you know, if she's in trouble, she knows she could have called me.
Yeah. I got a 6-pack and a shotgun right here.
Yeah. Call me.
Oh, we're taking care of that right now.
Right.
You want to go? You want to try to fight with me? Put down that camera. You know. No, it's not it's not actually Idiocracy.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
She really needed help. She would have called me. She totally blaming her and making her to be like this person who just watched.
Well, and also like he in himself could be gaslit by the reporter. The reporter could be like, Now, as a father, do you feel like you could have done something? So he's feeling like he's being attacked for not...
made any mistakes? Yeah. Do you feel like there was something you could have done differently?
Right. And he's like, yeah, for sure. Oof.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
And Deb is just at home seeing all this, like...
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay,
I'm getting an important phone call.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Yes. This is Cosmo. He's the one getting in trouble for trying to eat the kitty. I think this is the last one of these I'm doing. Hopefully for a long time. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. We will be back every week, hopefully, to show the transparency of making of independent film. And this, of all projects, is independent. Small crew, small monies, just trying to get out there and do it because it's our passion, because we love it, and that's all we can do. You know, when you're an artist, I hate to, I'm a storyteller, I'm an artist, but if you consider this what we're doing that, then yeah, I mean, we have to get it out, and it's an important thing to get out because it's an important story to tell. So subscribe, like, share, all the YouTube things. I hate doing this. I'm enthusiastic about filmmaking, not so much about all the algorithm, all the superficiality of all this. So the more we get money, the less superficial this all has to be. I don't know. You guys know how I feel about this. Okay. See you next week. Thanks, y'all.